Toma Sadgamaya Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Mrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from unreal to reality. Lead us from darkness of ignorance to light of wisdom. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. We began with Vedanta. The subject matter of Vedanta being Jiva, the individual, Jagat, the world, and Ishvara, the God. Vedanta helps us in two levels. One is it provides the manual of life to live in this world the best way. It also provides the knowledge of what is beyond this world. In these 4 sessions, we have already covered 2 sessions. The further today and tomorrow, we will be covering the manual of life. So we have seen who am I in the perspective of the world. That is, I recognize myself as this body, my mind, and my intellect. So we were analyzing these 3 upadhis. These are called upadhis in Sanskrit, means sub-bodies. So the gross body, which is called as Stula Sharira, and the subtle body, which is the mind and intellect, we were analyzing. Just looking back, the body is made up of organs of perception with which we recognize the world, and organs of action with which we operate in this world. And these 2 sets of organs, totaling number 10, are reporting to its boss, the Manasu, mind. Mind is subtler than the gross body, so it is able to control. Subtler than the mind is the intellect, and intellect has the capacity to handle the mind, depending upon how we develop the intellect. For developing the mind, we don't need to put any effort, because mind is driven by your senses. They go all around and ask the mind, I want this, I don't want this. So there is no special effort required by the mind to grow itself. It's like a child we have seen. Whereas intellect has to be developed by oneself. He has to put effort to develop the intellect. This is what we have seen. Also, the mind, just to go back a little, the mind is made up of, it is a seat of emotions. It is the storehouse of all your memories, and it is the I-ness, the identification, I am so and so individual. Because of these contents in the mind develops likes and dislikes, attachment for the products you have, items you have, and desires for new items, and mind is impulsive. All this we have seen. Whereas intellect is the discriminating capacity within us. It is capable of discriminating, analyzing, reasoning, judging, and deciding. So all this analysis will help us how to make choices in our life. So today, yesterday we have seen the 3 C's to success. What are all the components of our actions that will help us in achieving what we want in this life? Concentration, consistency, and cooperative endeavor. In all the three, how intellect, the capacity of the intellect to handle the mind onto the present job, and also develop cooperative endeavor. The cooperative endeavor is very important because individually each one of us cannot do anything. You need the cooperation of all the others and other things around us. Imagine if you want to write your name, you need a pen. Hundreds of people, thousands of people have worked on the pen for the last several centuries. And today we are having the pen. Even the language with which we are transacting, I have not invented. Thousands of years it has taken for millions of people to make this language such a perfect one, where what I am telling is communicated correctly to the other side. So we have to be grateful to all those people who have made our life today so comfortable. This is called gratitude. It need not be expressed physically, but that gratitude should be there internally. Who is the creator of all this? Oh God, you have provided us so many things with which we are enjoying here. That gratitude alone can be called as worship. If you want to know what is devotion and worship, the internal understanding of all the things provided to us, that alone is worship. All right. So today, let us look into, we are keep on telling, develop the intellect to make your life better. How do we develop the intellect? This is dealt in 3 levels. First, we give some tips to develop the intellect. A knowledge of what constitutes the wisdom. We will go into that step by step and understand. You can note down any questions you have. At the end of the session, we will try to work on it. Yeah. So the first thing in intellect development is, we must understand the wisdom is not scholarship. The world is full of sound scholars, but not sound men. Told by Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. What does this mean? We can study the scriptures from beginning to the end. We can by heart. We can chant them. We can show our scholarship by even explaining the meanings of that. But if it is not digested within and practiced, we will not be sound men. That's the word sound men by Rabindranath Tagore is, we call them as acharyas. Charya means action. Acharya is the one who is practicing the actions, whatever he is teaching. When we talk of a guru, how do we select a guru? This is one of the conditions for a guru. In spiritual parlor, it is said he should be a Brahmanista. That means he is established in the wisdom, whatever he is talking about. He should be a Shrotriya, means he should be able to communicate what he has understood. And Acharya, whatever he is understood, whatever he is communicating to others, if he is following, he is an Acharya. So whenever you look for some guru, you must look for these three qualities. So it is what he says is, wisdom, the development of intellect is not scholarship. It is how much we digest it. So we see the tips step by step, so it is easy for you to understand what it means. So the first tip, very important tip to develop the intellect is, you all are reading this, you must be wondering what is that we are talking. Intelligence is not intellect. All the time we were thinking to acquire intelligence. What is the understanding why we are talking that intelligence is not intellect? So intelligence is defined as the information collected from external sources. You collect the information, or you can even call it as knowledge, collected from the books, universities, professors, discussions, and Google. It is the knowledge of somebody else which we are taking. It is like in most of the colleges, most of these professors, they teach physics for decades. But if there is an intelligent student and he asks one question beyond the syllabus, he will not be able to explain, answer him. He may be teaching in the college, and also he may be conducting private tuitions. He is a recorded machine. That is the intelligence. What is intellect is what you digested from that information. The knowledge, whatever you are there, if you have utilized inside and applied in your life, that is intellect. We will see some portion, some aspects of this, that knowledge versus wisdom. You can see. So intelligence is knowledge. It is an information. The computer has got so many programs inside that it is information. Inside the computer, there may be programs and information, knowledge explaining how to escape from fire. If there is a fire, how to escape. But the computer, when there is a fire, cannot run away. It has got just the information. So the knowledge, when it is transformed into my own understanding, that is wisdom. Like there is poison, and as an information we know this is poison and it will harm me. But you may be keeping it in your own accessible point in the house, or Other example is, we all know how to maintain our health. We all know what to eat and what not to eat. Are we practicing it? As a knowledge, you have that information, but you are not practicing it. To practice it, you need intellect. When you have the intellect and when you practice, that will become wisdom within you. We know getting angry is not all right. It is not a right emotion. But are we able to handle our emotion at the starting itself and avoid getting angry, avoid getting jealousy, hatred? These are all negative emotions, we know. But are we able to practice that? When you have the intellect completely developed, you will be able to handle these emotions. Similarly, as an intellectual person, from the same college, same section, there may be 30 boys going out taking degrees. How they utilize this knowledge, based on that, their career will be. Let us say we meet all those 30 boys after 10 years. You will not find them in more or less same strata in different areas. Some of them may be a clerk, another person may have become a CEO. So how you apply your intellect using the same intelligence, that is wisdom and that is the intellect. So we should not keep only knowledge with us. Plenty of knowledge is available all over, but your capacity to turn into wisdom will make your character better, your Vyaktitvantarala, the personality development comes when you convert it into wisdom. We will see what are the other aspects of this intelligence and intellect. Yes. Next one. Next.
Actually, sometimes lighting, but it is not coming. I think Wi-Fi issues.
Please go down.
So Wi-Fi is at least a connection.
So in this area of intelligence and wisdom, there are many things we are practicing in the world. Like, anybody who is working in an organization, they are provided with incentives. In the company, when you see, without incentives, there will be no activity going on in almost every company these days. This is called as the fall of the human intellect. I'm seeing something else.
Liberal education.
Go back. Yes. So we are seeing incentives versus initiatives in the second line. What is required to run an industry? If you want to be excellent, you not only in industry, even in our own personal lives. We have got our children. We keep on incentivize them. Like, for anything for them to study, we provide certain incentives. You can watch TV for so long, or I'll get you this if you study. And particularly in the companies, everything is incentivized. What is wrong with these incentives? After some time, the incentives stop working. they ask for a next benchmark. Suppose you develop the initiatives. How do you develop the initiative? The initiative can be developed even in our own lives. We are also getting saturated at many times. When we pitch up a higher goal, whatever goals today we have, if we pitch up a higher goal, we will have initiative to work. So, like, a child is stuck to the toys. But when he starts growing up, he looks at a motorcycle, his toys will fall off. So he has pitched up a higher goal, the lower goals will be dropped. So this kind of initiatives has to be developed by the senior people, explaining them the importance of these incentives, the initiatives, how their character will be built. Based on that, they are going to achieve higher things in life. When that is explained, particularly to the supervisors and managers, when they get inspired, they will be able to inspire the other sections. And you also have seen the next one, the fertilizers versus organic manure. I think I don't need to explain this. Fertilizers is like intelligence or the information, whereas organic manure is the real wisdom. Similarly, we try to take vitamins. Why we are taking vitamins? Because we are not practicing the right food and right lifestyle in our life. Therefore, we go to the doctor, spending money, go to a laboratory, take the reports, and he will point out vitamin B is not less, vitamin D is less. So for each one of them, we have to take a vitamin. If we understand what constitutes our food and the right lifestyle, we can avoid all these vitamins. The next thing is, we have what is the difference? Why we are explaining all this? If we have the intellect, we can maintain the right lifestyle. If we have the intellect, we can avoid fertilizers, we can keep the manure properly, soil properly, by proper rotating the crops and avoiding the chemicals, so we can produce good food. So similarly, here in the education, we are all onto survival education and we have forgotten liberal education. What does this survival education mean? Survival education is, you take education for the sake of surviving. We are really not looking at what life as a totality. It is just to fill up the information, and with information we transact our jobs and make a living. I become an engineer with certain information, which is knowledge. I join a company, they pay me because I'm having the knowledge of the engineering, and I survive. This is not the life of a human being. Even animals survive without going to universities. Only human being has to go to educational institutions to survive, to become a graduate and earn and survive. So we have to understand what is the difference between this liberal education and survival education. Liberal education viewed in itself is simply the cultivation of the intellect as such, and its object is nothing more or less than intellectual excellence. If you see our ancient people, the kind of architecture they have built, the people were taking so much pride in the skills they had developed. The music, architecture, the medicine. Nobody studied or worked with all these things to get some job or to sell that and survive. Imagine you go and tell Einstein, I will give you a job. I'll pay you so much. Would he be interested? Eh? So he is so much into this liberal education. He wanted to find something new, something useful to the society. So that is the kind of education we talk about, liberal education. John Henry Newman in 1850s, he understood at that time only the British universities were becoming more on survival education. They provided courses so that people learn that and go to jobs. The shift from intellectual excellence has moved into just acquiring the knowledge and surviving. So there is a book called The Idea of a University. This consists of the lectures given by John Henry Newman somewhere in the middle of the 19th century. And there he keeps on explaining how the humanity is falling. Now what Swamiji is telling, the fall of the human intellect, how it has started that time only. So, can you go into the... So what we are supposed to do is, we have to cultivate the habit of provoking the intellect to acquire the knowledge and assimilate and apply. You see what Alvin Toffler says, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. See, we are all already full, our cups are all full with the traditional, the what we have picked up from our parents, how our predecessors in the last several generations they have lived. What they did, they acquired the information, go to a job or do some work and survive. The whole thing is based on surviving. So what Toffler says is, you must have the capacity to unlearn that already put in survive education. Then you should be able to learn afresh. That means you should be able to cultivate the intellect, not the mind. By now, all of you must have the idea why I keep on telling mind and intellect. If mind doesn't need any effort to make it grow, whereas intellect needs an effort. So that is where we should have the capacity to question everything and learn from each of these situations. So let us see what are the other informations we can gain from how to develop the intellect. Move to the next.
There is some connection issue. No, it is right. So Nirmana versus Paradharma.
Yes. Now one more tip which our teachers provide us to develop our intellect is Swadharma versus Paradharma. What is our Swadharma and what is Paradharma? See, by birth, we are all having a particular kind of nature. We are built with a particular nature based on our own acquired desires. If the Swadharma means our own nature. See, some children will be very soft, very emotional. some will be aggressive, some will be neither of this. So these qualities we have to observe in a child. To find, first of all, we must observe in ourselves, what is my Swadharma? The Swadharma in a simple understanding is, we have to see whether we are highly active people or emotional people or intellectual. These three parameters, if we analyze, we will broadly know what is our nature. When we go into the next course, you will come across Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These are the three gunas in which pattern a person gets molded. So once we understand our nature, if I am a highly intellectual person, I must work in that areas. If my nature, you see, some children will not like mathematics. Some of us also, either we like it or we don't like it. It is not so easy to understand mathematics. But as parents, we ask them, no, you must study engineering. You must get into a particular different line. Then they will, that is paradharma. So they will be not successful in this, in their endeavors. See, it is like a boat is there going in the stream, river stream. The stream is flowing from north to south. Suppose the boat understands the stream direction and would like to go in that direction, it becomes very easy. So your effort and the stream effort will become together. But suppose you want to climb across the flow direction, you have to put a lot of effort. Therefore, it is essential to understand one's own Swadharma. Accordingly, we should take up our activities. So we have now this right goals versus passionate goals. I think this we discussed last session. Many of the youngsters, when you ask them, when you talk to them, they say, I am passionate about a particular way, particular thing, particular career. But if we just probe little more, as some intellectual person, if you probe them, ask them what really made them to think that they are passionate about a particular profession or career, you will notice that I'm not telling all of them, almost most of them, they have wrongly selected the career. In the sense, they were passionate about such people who have taken such profession and they are successful. See, everybody cannot be a Rajesh Khanna or whatever our present, like Amitabh Bachchan. But our passion, thinking that if I become a film actor, I'll be very happy because I see the other person is so popular, he is having so much of money, and he has got so much respect. So I would like to do that. We have to analyze ourselves. What is my resources? Suppose I want to enter into an engineering project. I want to establish a company. I must analyze my capabilities required for that project. Am I having the technology to do that particular product? Am I having the financial resources? If I get into so-and-so project, do I get the workforce required for this? Do I get other raw materials required for this project? If I analyze everything, and then also see our internal trait. A project cannot be engineering, the factories cannot be established by everybody. Lot of tenacity, lot of steadfastness. You should have the capacity to withstand lot of negative situations, failures, discouragements. If we have that capacity, then we should enter into establishing any venture. Without that, we will be making mistakes. So to analyze ourselves and also to fix the right goals. My resources are this, my capacity is this, let me fix this goal like this. My reach is this. Selecting a right goal in our life. This applies in various ways. Even to select a partner, we must know our own position. With respect to that, you must work and look for the partners. Then you will make make the right choices, and you will be better off in your life. Therefore, for this also, for all this, whatever I have said now, to make knowledge into wisdom, incentives, instead of keep on giving incentives, whether you can develop the initiatives into your workforce or with your people, your own people working in the house. If you are able to initiate, develop the initiatives in them, that means higher goals. Then instead of using fertilizers, we use organic manure and keep the soil pakka and get the good crop. Practicing the right lifestyle, following liberal education. Allow the children, liberal education means allow the children to think for themselves, work for themselves. Let them make mistakes. We have made blunders. So if they are making small mistakes, what is wrong? So the liberal education, they should be free thinking. Then following our swadharma, understanding first of all, what is my nature? According to my nature, I should be taking up the professions and fixing the right goals. These are the things which require intellect. You need intellect to make proper decisions in each one of them. Next one is the judgment versus assessment. What is the difference between judgment and assessment? Can any one of you tell? We should be able to, because every moment you are asked to take a decision, you have to choose the choice of action. Every moment you have a choice of action. Right now you have a choice of action to listen to this lecture or close it and go, to keep the video on or off. Each one of these decisions you are exercising. So you have to make an assessment. Assessment has got 3 levels. For your life to be better, for making the right choices, you need proper assessment. We'll go into that. The judgment is, it is like, suppose you are driving in a scooter and there are potholes, and you are driving there, and your assessment should be, oh, there are potholes, I must be careful, otherwise I may meet with an accident. So your proper assessment of the road and your vehicle will allow you to drive smoothly. Instead of that, the judgment means this government is useless. This municipality fellows are all corrupt. Everybody is corrupt in this world, in this country. So you start passing the judgments which will not help you while you are driving. So you should be able to make proper assessments. There are assessments are on the 3 levels. First thing is, see, with whom we are dealing every day. We are dealing with the people, we are dealing with the things, and we are dealing with the situations. So we should be able to make proper assessment of people around us. The closest is the spouses, the children, the parents. Each one of them we must assess, like we said, their swadharmas, their capacities, their capabilities, their interests. What is that? When you assess that, then you try not to go against their thoughts. Even though it is, there may be, you may perceive that they say their thinking is wrong. You cannot change anybody. The only way you can help them is educating them in a capacity they absorb. They may not be interested in your advice. So what we have to do is, we have to go along with them for some time. If they say so-and-so thing, they believe correctly, you say, yes, correct. Go along with them. When a U-turn comes, you must take a U-turn and bring them back. As you start staying with them, with their thought, then you give them some education. And slowly, when they understand that what you are telling is right, then there is a possibility that they will take a U-turn and come to your line. Direct opposition, telling you are wrong, nobody accepts, particularly these days. The mind is so egoistic. People, you cannot touch them. It immediately touches their ego. They will retort. Most of the people have become mind-oriented. That means impulsive. That is why this Fall of Human Intellect book is so relevant today. As for assessing the others, not for criticizing them, but see how much we can educate them and bring them back in a very systematic and structured way. Because let us say our own family, we have husband, wife, children, parents. Each one of them we should be able to assess correctly. Then you will be able to make a big difference in their life over a period of time. And then assessment of things. Anything, whether do I need this or I don't need this. People buy things and after several years they've not even opened it. That should not happen. Similarly, situations. So in a particular situation, how I should act. If there is a commotion going on the road, in that situation, what should I do? There is an accident happens. Your own vehicle, you met with an accident. How you should handle that situation. All this needs intellect. Without intellect, we will be in trouble in every situation. See, particularly the situations relate to people only. We all know how to handle the animals, isn't it? If you have a cat, you know how to handle it. You can go and pet it. You got a puppy, a dog, you can pet it. If there is a cow, you know what is its nature, and you really understand and you go and handle accordingly. If there is a snake, you know very clearly that you should not go near it. If there is a tiger, you know what to do. When you go into a zoo, you don't put your hand inside a tiger's cage. But when it comes to people, we have this difficulty of assessing the people, because the same person can be a puppy, a dog, a cat, a deer, snake. It can be a tiger also, depending upon the situation. Even the same person in the same situation in different times may behave differently. Instead of telling somebody else, we can look at our own life, how we have behaved in different situations. We were also a cat, a dog, a snake, a fox in different situations. So therefore, we must correctly assess the people around us, correctly assess ourselves, to see that proper decisions are made. Right assessment leads to objectivity. See, the objectivity is a very important word. See, whenever any situation is there, the objectivity comes like how Christ has told. Jesus Christ says, the very important rule he has told, so that it is like a karma yoga only, how he has told. You don't do anything which you don't expect others to do to you. You understand? You don't do anything that you don't expect others to do to you. So the objectivity is to suppose you are in the other person's shoes, how you would have behaved. If you can make an assessment, you will be able to deal with that situation more accurately.
So does this mean being empathetic? Or putting yourself in the other person's shoes and trying to understand what they're doing? Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Suppose we are dealing with a servant, and you find they are unreasonable, but you put yourself on the other side and then see what you would have done in that situation. That gives us a feedback that, oh, I must correct myself, or no, what I have taken is the right thing. You deal with your friend, anybody, anywhere. When you are dealing, whenever you are finding this is the other person is not reasonable, then you put yourself on the other side and see what you would have done in each situation. Then you will get a right decision. Understand? You can make a right response to that situation. Objectivity is not pushing. Let us say your son or daughter has gone into an argument in some friend's place, and there was a fight, and after that everybody brings them to you. Now, objectivity is to see that situation as if it is somebody else has done the fight. Whether it's, suppose, let us say your son was at fault, will you be able to be objective enough to say, yes, he is at fault, and okay, we will give him some advice? Or you will bring your subjectiveness, he is my son, and deal with the situation. So objectivity is to see things as it is. That is a simple understanding. Objectivity is to look at any situation as it is without coloring with our subjective understanding. Is it okay? Okay, next one. So this is how you can go back to intellect. So we have covered the tips to make our intellect little aware of what are the things that it should observe in our life. In case we do not develop, what happens, that we will take it up. I think we can go a little, because there may not be time tomorrow to complete the whole thing. See, first we have given you the tips to develop. Then how is it? Go back. Now, how is intellect developed? So far we have seen the tips to develop the intellect. Now, how is intellect developed? What are the consequences if you don't develop the intellect? You understand this? All are okay, all are there. I'm not seeing any.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if we develop the tips to develop the intellect, then if we don't, okay, we are giving you all this, but I said I don't care, I don't bother about it. I know everything. Then what will happen to you? What are the consequences of not developing the intellect? You can see the one. Mind loses sanity. So what is the mind we saw? What is the difference between the mind and intellect? The emotional aspect is the mind and discriminating aspect is the intellect. Suppose we don't develop the intellect is zero, it is not zero, but it is very low, then what will happen? You see this graph. It will give the sanity chart of a human being. You see OA, the line OA from the 0 to left side. If you are taking 100% discriminative decisions in your life, if you are making all choices by discriminating only, that means you are using the intellect for all your decisions. And there is no impulsive decision. Impulsive is mind. Everything is not, we are not programmed. We are not animals. All our choices are by the intellect. We are a sane person. Suppose 25% of our decisions are impulsive. That means we are taking indiscriminately, non-deliberated decisions we take. We go by reactivity. That means the mind is taking 25% of the decisions in your life and 75% still are discriminative. You discriminate, you say this is right, wrong, and then take a decision. Then you are considered as an emotional person. You see the standard set. It's a very high standard. If we are making 75% decisions by proper discrimination, that is a very good quality. Then you come to the center line, OC, you see that. Eccentric. Means what? 50% of our decisions are impulsive and 50% are by discrimination. That means what? We ourselves, for a same situation, same factors around, one time we may say right, another time we may say left. So eccentricity, it is not a stable situation. So such a person is called eccentric person. And you see the OD, that is 25% discriminative and 75% by the mind. Such a person, when you see a person who is hysterical, who shouts, who is, I mean, I don't need to give examples you would have seen in your own life at many places. People who are hysterical. Why they become hysterical? Because the intellect is developed, much less developed, low level. It is not developed, whereas the mind has taken over. For everything, the mind takes the decisions. Intellect once in a while comes and goes. And OE, where 100% if it is impulsive, 0% discriminative, we are an animal. Because animal doesn't do discrimination. So we are insane people. But luckily, by the analysis, when we see, we hardly find any person on the OA that is sane person, that is 100% sane person, we hardly find. We also don't find OE, 100% insane, very rarely. So OA, what are the type of people? Some of the Mahatmas, you must have seen the liberated people, like you can say Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or Ramana Maharshi or Swami Parthasarthy or such people who are all the time, they don't take any kind of error, they don't make any errors in their choices. And similarly, on the other side, maybe some of the asylums, if you go, you may find the insane persons. So we all fall in between. Why this graph is presented? It is not to find out fault with others. It is a mirror for us. Where are we in this graph? Doesn't matter, wherever we are, doesn't matter. We must try to improve onto the anti-clockwise side. If we are hysterical, the recognition itself is great. So one of the great people say that to recognize I don't have intellect also needs an intellect, I believe. To recognize I don't have intellect, you need intellect. So if we are even hysterical, doesn't matter. If the but have you recognized? Yeah, I am hysterical as per this chart. I behave like this. That itself is a starting point. Very quickly you can move on to the other side. So recognizing this chart is a mirror for us to evaluate ourselves and improve ourselves. What is the next one? Okay. So we will take up the choice of action going wrong tomorrow and the rest of the things. So if you have any questions, we have 3 more minutes.
Why are we calling it emotional?
Yeah.
When we say 75% are descriptive, 25% impulsive, the word emotional,
Yeah.
why are we calling it emotional?
Because see the part of the emotions are a result of the desires. All the emotions come, the source of all our emotions is a desire. So desires are all born in the mind and expressed in different forms. So for example, you want something to be achieved, but there is an obstruction in your getting your desire fulfilled. If a boy likes a girl and a third person comes in between and the girl is looking at the third person, the first person gets angry, isn't it?
Yes.
Angry. Then he starts developing hatred. He starts developing jealousy. All the things come, all the emotions that are rooted in desires. So whatever you express non-discriminatively, they are called as emotions. Suppose a discretion is there, automatically it doesn't become emotion. Emotion is a reaction. Only there are in emotions also there are positive emotions, and even in positive emotions, discriminated positive emotions. There are discriminated negative emotions. That means sometimes your intellect comes and tells you show anger. A particular situation, your son is not behaving the way you wanted it, but you know that I cannot do anything. Then you show anger. He comes late. Every day he comes late, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. What you will do? You have to show anger. You should not become angry. Then you are having intellect. It is a discriminated emotion. When you are showing anger, it is an emotion, but it is a discriminated emotion. It's a part of the intellect. So any reactivity is part of the mind, and it is called emotion.
So, for example, you said desires.
Yes.
So, as all human beings, we will have desires, but uh, I mean, is it, should you be restricting, not restricting, have dreams?
Yeah, that is a very important question. It needs, that is the entire scheme of this spiritual teaching. What desires you should entertain. We are all, I mean, we are human beings. We do have desires. If you analyze and take decisions, that desire can be met with. But if you don't use the discretion and go with the emotional approach, whatever the result comes, you will be affected. Yesterday we discussed about karma yoga. You have a desire to build a company or build a particular thing. You must analyze it. So this is my duty. Yes, I have taken up this profession. I want to do this. Then next what? How do you do it? There are no emotions in all that 4 activities when you see. It is a matured intellectual approach to achieve whatever you want. Then you will not be in agitation. See, what is dukkha? Dukkha is nothing but, sorrow is nothing but mental agitations. Mental agitations happen whenever you are indiscriminately taking decisions, and those are emotions. The desire, nothing wrong with the desire. How you deal with the desire? Are you dealing like an animal which simply goes by its desire? It gets up in the morning, it is feeling hungry, it starts going and trying to find its prey. A tiger gets up and then it feels hungry, it will start looking for prey. You all know, early morning they go on to take their bite, and they will keep quiet afterwards. It is we should not be driven like animals by our desires. We have plans how to store food, how to maintain our over a period of time. We got all discriminated actions in our life, deliberated thoughts to meet our desires. Is it okay? Yes, please.
Any other questions, please?
See, the idea is in every choice making, you must bring in the intellect. Then only your choice of action will be better and your life will be better. Does it make sense, all this? It is not mine. It is from the scriptures we have got it. See, in Bhagavad Gita, it says, if we don't deal with these desires in a proper way, it leads to destruction of the intellect itself, and buddhi nashat pranashati. Once the intellect gets clouded by the emotions, the destruction of the human being happens. This is called ladder of fall in the Bhagavad Gita. How a human falls from his human capability to an animalistic level. And similarly, in another text by Adi Shankaracharya, the Bhajagovindam, he says how to grow up, ladder of rise. That is, satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan muktihi. First and foremost is you must associate with satsanga. Sat means satsanga. For our understanding, let us take it as anybody wiser than me, I should associate with him. He is a satsanga for me. For our understanding. When we go into the spiritual line, the satsanga means it is little different. We will discuss that later. But right now, anybody wiser than me, a good person than me, I must associate. Automatically, you will be raised in your character building, your life will be built better. Suppose you associate with a weaker fellow, you are going on the other range. That is what is shown as a ladder and snakes. There is a chart you people must have seen. Ladder and snakes chart. So if you take the ladder, you are in the association of a satsangi. If you take the snake, that means somebody lower in our capacity we are associating, and we will be falling. Definitely. These are all, there is no other, these are all rules of the life game. Is it okay? All right. If Dr. Saraswati, nice to see you.
Hare Om.
Hare Om.
Nice, wonderful briefing. Everybody, I think they're all understanding and enjoying. A kind request to everybody to log in at least 5 minutes before so that we can start on dot.
Yeah.
Today at 11, there were only 5 members. Then it crossed 20. It should cross 20 before 11.
See, all these are part of the intellect. Somebody is saying something. Yes. All right. We'll catch up tomorrow. Be a little early, as Dr. Sudarshan said. And it was the concluding part. We will, maybe at the end, we will also see what we should do further. And we appreciate if your views are put in the group. Thank you.
Sure, sir. I will join in time tomorrow. Thank you.
Hare Om. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Hari Om, everyone. Thank you.
Raju, if you are free, be there.
Mama.
Savita also.
Yeah.